What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to today's video. It's been a minute, so greetings, hello, welcome back, all that good stuff. Today we're going to work on the BRZ some more. We got some modifications, just some quick bolt-ons to do. I'm waiting tomorrow for the Flex Fuel Kit to arrive, but to prepare for that we're going to do the rest of the installs today. So tomorrow, Flex Fuel Kit from Delicious Tuning. I already received their Stage 2 map. We're going to go with the ECU Tech, EcuTech for the programming and tuning. By Delicious Tuning, so we'll get that package hopefully tomorrow as long as the FedEx guy is on time. And then we're also going to be installing the Perrin inlet tube, Tomei unequal length headers, and the Tomei joint pipe, overpipe, whatever you want to call it. These two pieces right here are going to finalize the exhaust setup on this car. We already have the 3-inch MA Performance catback exhaust system on there. Sounds great. And then we have the HKS dual resonated front pipe already installed on this car as well. Pretty much put me where I want to be before I make the leap to force induction. If that happens, you know, I want to give myself some time to save up, but I wanted to eliminate the torque dip, and apparently the Stage 2 tune from Delicious Tuning in combination with E85 flex fueling will do that for me. So I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to take you guys along on this ride of pretty much just after, like, this is how everything looks before. I'll give you some sound clips after. But this is not going to be like an install video by any means. It's just letting you guys know what I'm doing to the car and then my thoughts afterwards once those modifications have been done. So I will see you guys then. Alright guys, welcome back. So everything came in on time. We have our Flex Fueling Kit. Thank you Delicious Tuning and FedEx for making that happen, and very quick. So let's get started with the modifications that were done. Just little tips or things that I may have encountered that I could let you know about. That way helps you out if you're trying to do this type of build to your BRZ. So let's start with the inlet tube for the intake by Perrin. Best tip here for installation of this is once you get the sound tubing, the original one removed, and the intake portion removed, the tubing, it's kind of tricky right over here. You can see that cap there. That's where I capped it off with the included cap from Perrin in the kit. The only reason why that's troublesome is just the angle that it's at, the fitting for your hands to be able to get in there and to remove the hosing. So just take your time with it. I did quite a few sessions of just coming back to it and twisting it more, working on something else, coming back, twisting it more, and then eventually it came out. So that's a little bit of a trouble spot. There's really not much you can do about it. Just take your time with it. If you feel agitated, you know, just come back to it. Okay, so next up we'll go with the Tomei unequal length header. So you can see it right down here. It's heat wrapped. It comes with heat wrap, so that was cool. It's not something that's a necessity, but if you got the time and if you never wrapped before, might as well learn how to do it. Worst case scenario, you can take it off, but it came out pretty well. For those of you that are not familiar with heat wrap though, what you ended up doing was soaking it in water, like in a bucket, for like 5-10 minutes, and then wrapping the header, and then letting it dry, and then installing it. And when you fire this car up for the first time, in any car that you put heat wrap on, you're going to get some vapor action and a little bit of a burning smell, perhaps even a little bit of smoke or vapor. And that's perfectly normal. Don't be concerned. Your engine bay is not on fire. I mean, definitely, you know, when you're doing your exhaust leak check to make sure everything's okay, but that is normal. So the installation of the header itself was actually not bad at all, very easy. The only thing that I recommend is on the collector side. So I'm standing in front of the car now, this side. There is a nut there out of the 3, 14 millimeter. One of them you cannot get to with a traditional socket. So what I ended up doing was just going to a local hardware store, or if you already have one in your toolbox, pick up a crow's foot, 14 millimeter or 9/16. Either one will suffice. And then get that. That will allow you to tighten it up nicely and torque it down without any issue. It'll make it due to the tight clearance. So that worked out really well. So that was actually pretty easy to install. Very straightforward. Very straightforward. Word of advice on that too is if you try to bolt it up, if it doesn't want to line up with the studs, then Tomei, it actually has some tabs on there right in the middle of the header. And those are spacers. Just loosen them up and then you should be able to adjust to fit, and then once it fits, just tighten them back down and that'll solve your problems. I think they do that just to avoid any potential movement during shipping. but easy resolution. So if you run into that issue, that's how you resolve it. Now let's see. Next up is the overpipe. That one was the most difficult, and most difficult only being because of getting the pipe out. Installing the new pipe was very easy. Removing the stock one was a bit challenging because it's just very tight fitting down there. And the way that we made that happen is we had to jack up the motor, so we just unbolted one of the motor mounts, and then we were able to lift it just the tiniest bit, and then it was able to be easily removed with the heat shield on. Now for me, I had to leave the heat shield on because when I tried to take the heat shielding off, the bolts were just stripping, so it just made it impossible. And I didn't really feel like cutting. You could technically just cut the bolts off if you wanted to from underneath. I didn't want to go that route, so we just ended up jacking up the motor a little bit, and that 100% resolved the issue. And then we lowered it back down and torqued it back down, so we're fine there. So that's my tip for there, is just if you can, jack up the motor a little bit. I've seen some YouTube videos where you don't have to, and that's fine. Like if you can get it out without having to do that, I recommend it. I definitely think that you probably need the heat shield off, but you know, that's going to be up to you to do. So we took a lot of time trying to remove it without lifting the motor, but we ended up lifting the motor. So wish I would have did that from the start. Okay, now the flex fuel kit. That was actually super easy to install as well. As you can see here, here is the sensor. Comes with all the bracket and mounting. Goes right there. It's actually super easy to install. The instructions are spot on. You can't really miss anything. They got diagrams too. They even go as far down as telling you, recommended points for zip tying the cabling to give you tidy management. So as you can see here, since I have a 2019 BRZ, we have the ground here. So you ground it, goes back to the box goes out. Right here it replaces your secondary O2, and then I have the stock one just chilling there. And then this cable that talks and communicates with the sensor just goes all the way around the front, and it just loops over here. And as far as the fuel lining, again, that comes with a kit for a quick fuel line removal, and it does its job very well. It's very easy to do. What I recommend is, before you even install this, like, get the bracket done, mount the sensor, and then right when you get to removing the fuel line, what I ended up doing was I went to the fuse box. I think it's a 20 amp fuse, it is, but look at the diagram. Take out the fuel pump fuse, right? Once you do that, go back inside your car, start your car. Now there should be gas in the line, so it's going to start. When it starts hesitating even the slightest, turn it off, and then leave the car off for about 5 to 10 minutes. The longer the better. What you're trying to do then is just naturally let the fuel pressure in the line drop on its own. And then I waited about like an hour, but I was working from home, so I was able to just go do something else, forget about it, and then come back. And then I removed this line. And when I did that, there's very little fuel that came out, so it wasn't just like pouring everywhere. Like, it was just very, very minimal, so it made it very, very easy to do, not a lot of mess at all. So that would be my tip for that. And that pretty much covers it. So other than that, what I did was I put the ECU-Tech, the ECU-Tech Bluetooth OBD2 port reader in there, and then connected it to a laptop, and then I uploaded the tune that was provided by Delicious Tuning, and so far it is pretty spot on. It sounds really good. Everything's running really great, so I'm probably going to start logging here really, really soon. I just took it for a cruise last night. Didn't go heavy on the throttle. I actually went to a station, picked up E85. I had a little bit of 93 in there, but my percentage ratio went really, really high up there, so I was really, really pleased. It was 14% ethanol content when I first hooked it up with the 93 in the tank. After I loaded 10 gallons of E85 in there, it shot up after a few minutes of just cycling through, allowing it to mix in there. Cycled up to 74%, which is pretty awesome. So, and E85 is, where I live at least, it's pretty readily available, so I'll be switching every now and then just to help. Each fuel seems to, clean the other, so that's a good tip to do. So if you're running E85 a lot, just maybe every 3 or 4 fills, put a little bit of 93 in there, help clean it out, and then vice versa. But alright, now the last portion of this video segment I'm going to do is I know everyone's going to be curious on sound. I'll do a sound isolation test later on this BRZ to give you a better idea. And what I mean by that is, you know, like just dedicated on its own, so cold start, maybe some flybys, and then idling, all the standard stuff, maybe even some cabin noise, because the cabin noise is great. The volume didn't really go up too bad. Well, let me rephrase that. Yes, it did. I'm not gonna lie. Cold start is hella loud now. It was loud before just by putting on that 3-inch catback, but now it's really loud. And then once it idles, and if you're cruising, it's not bad at all. But then once you put throttle down, this baby rips. Like, it sounds a lot faster than it really is, but for the performance gain, it's not bad. I mean, the only thing I can do now is go forced induction or do a built motor, and you know, that takes time, money. Don't make money off of YouTube, and my job is decent, not the best in the planet. So, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cold start. We have, my fiance has this beautiful BRZ in white. It's a 2020 model, completely stock. We got NVIDIA N1 catback coming, so I'll shoot a video once we get that in. It's been taking a little long just due to the cove, but this should be getting here a little later this month, so I'm going to install that. But right now it's bone stock, so I'm going to cold start this, and then while this is running, I'm going to cold start this. And hopefully what that does is, obviously with everyone's microphone set up for YouTube, it's different. I'm using a condenser mic mounted on top, so hopefully the sound quality is decent. But again, every time you hear a sound profile of an exhaust online on a video, it's not the same as in person, but this will give you a really good idea of like how much it can overpower the stock. So if you're looking to get into this and you have noise concerns, at least you'll kind of have like a good discernible head start on it. And in fact, maybe I'll include this in this video, but I'll probably just make a separate isolated video of this exact experiment, just so that way if you just want to click to it instead, it's easier. But let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up shop here under the hood. So let me set this down. I'll tell you what, I need to get a smaller camera instead of using this DSLR. I feel like I'd shoot more videos that way. This is just so bulky, it's hard to carry it around when you're like just ripping around with friends. I need to get the small one. But alright, so we got that buttoned up, so let me start this one up. So I love this color too. This is the color that I originally wanted. It just wasn't available at the time of when I was purchasing, and I'm very impatient. So that's my fault. But it's a beautiful car. I love this color. Especially if you do any like body work that's like, you know, a darker color like carbon fiber. It just contours so well that I feel like you don't really have to, you know, do much around it unless you like 100% paint match. And this car, by the way, I think only has like 900 miles on it or something like that. Or no, not even 446 on the clock. Alright, so we're cold started. I walk around the car, different angles. Oh, there's Leanne, everybody. And now cold start this one. Now this one with all those parts installed, plus I have the 3-inch catback and a front pipe that's dual resonated. This car is running no cats, so essentially it's just full exhaust setup, an inlet tube, which, let's be honest, that's just for cosmetics, and then the tune. So that's it. So as far as upgrade path, it's very easy to do this. Oh, hold on. She wants to get in. Have her mask. Alright, I'm gonna start this up. This car has about like 9,000 something miles. Walk around it. And to be honest with you guys, I said it's like hella loud, and that's going to be different between each person and what they define as really loud. I actually don't think it's bad. I enjoy it. I don't think it'll piss off my neighbors at all. They're actually really cool as far as this is concerned. But as you can see, now I'll do a walk around both. Sorry if this is making you guys dizzy, but it just completely overpowers it. So this will give you a good idea of like the differences between the volumes. But overall, I like both. Drivability of both is great. Torque dip is gone. That's cool. But yeah, you know, as far as like a cold start and then idle and just throttle, like remember it's a 4-cylinder vehicle, so not bad sounding. Definitely if you have a more powerful car. The way I like to say as a general rule of thumb is the more power, more loud. Once you start modifying, of course. And plus you can always get like baffles and stuff if you want to keep it down a little bit. But as most people that are into tuning and just car modification, such as myself, I usually enjoy the loud, so it's not too bad. But alright, that's it guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Famous last words. I want to try to post more, but I just need to make the time to do it. Really get on that. But I hope you enjoyed the content. I'll post up some more videos for some exhaust clips in the future. Take care everyone. Have a good one.